what I learned in 15 years by experience, if they can tarnish your characteristics, for sure, they're coming after your reputation. You know, I know first things first, you know what I mean? For the last 15 years, you know what I mean? Shit, motherfuckers just been trying to get me swiped out this earth for whatever reason and shit. And I finally understand though, you know, jealousy and haters like a motherfucker. Like you could do everything in your power, bro, to go above and beyond Call of Duty for your so-called homies. And if someone's hating off you or they're envy, jealous, or whatever it may be, it's a wrap, bro. That's what's been going on with me, bro. History repeats itself, and it continues to show, bro, that I guess I'm a force to be reckoned with, bro. It is what it is, right? And you know what I mean? I take full accountability for everything that I've done. You know what I mean? I'm not like that, you know what I mean? If I'm gonna talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit. At the same time though, I take full accountability for everything that I been through and shit. Real talk. For whatever reason though, man, saying these last 15 years, motherfuckers off my own town that I thought I was cool with and trying to kill me and shit. I ain't gonna name drop me shit and fools know who they are and shit. At the end of the day, bro, it is what it is, right? So I heard their story and shit from a celly and shit. I don't know who this guy was and shit. I just heard a story from the celly and here's how I heard it. I guess there was a little youngster and shit coming out of juvenile hall and shit, and he came to the county jail and shit. And just like any fucking striving little homie and shit, you know, he's juice and shit because all he heard was the county's a whole different ball game. It ain't the same thing like in juvenile hall, camp, crossroads. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers get juice, you know, because you're finally fucking with the top dogs, I guess. And it's sad, but some of us just grew up into that. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, you know what I mean? There's been some situations that happened with, I guess, this youngster. So I guess his Sally was already like super maxed out homie and shit, you know what I mean? And he took him through the proper procedures, you know what I mean? He walked him in the cell. I guess he checked him to see if he had any wires, tattoos, you know what I mean? The whole screening that they do before they go into the cell and get your information to circulate around the whole facility, you know what I mean? So I guess this little youngster, you know, he pulled up, he did what he was told, and I guess he made his mattress, did his 7-on-7s, did his thing, you know what I mean? And while he was there for, I heard he was there for like a stolen vehicle, you know what I mean? And they went on a high speed chase, and and I guess they ended up getting caught up and shit. And then that little youngster had just turned 18, I think. So he for sure he was already in the county jail. So, anyways, long story short, so this youngster, you know, he gets a packet through the through the mail through the door and shit, and they're I guess it's those packages to go home on a monitor, you know what I mean? And you know, the youngster was like, nah, he's good. Like, I'm not gonna go out on the monitor. I'm just gonna do my time. I'm used to doing time anyways. I'm just gonna post up. Well, I guess that youngster Sally was telling him like, hey, bro, like, you know what a sacrifice is? And of course, the youngster being uneducated, he was like, nah, well, what's a sacrifice? Like, you know, lace me up. So I guess he starts telling them all the sacrifice, you know what I mean, is like, you know, giving up your time for something to benefit the homies, you know what I mean? Giving up something that you value for the homies, you know, you're sacrificing. And you know, that youngster, I guess he was pumped up. He was like, hell yeah, like I would do anything for the homies, you know what I mean? Like whatever the homies wanted, you know what I mean? Like I guess that youngster was all pumped up. So long story short, this youngster calls, I guess, his parents, and I guess he asked like, hey man, like They just gave me a parole packet. You think I could get out on the monitor, and but I have to put a registered address. And of course, well, the mom was always there. You know what I mean? The mom, as long as her son was out of jail and staying out of trouble, I mean, for the most part, the mom, did what she can for him. You know what I mean? And so I guess this youngster ended up filling out the paperwork and he turned it in, and he let the house know. And I guess the sacrifice was, I guess this youngster was gonna go out there, pick up some dope, some clavos, heroin, weed, tobacco, whatever it may be, and he was supposed to basically go out there, pick that up, cut his monitor off, and sacrifice for the homies like that. So so I guess this youngster went out there, he collected all that dope, all the heroin, all that, and I guess that youngster cut his monitor off, and he went on the run for like a week and brought all that shit back in, and everything was a touchdown. Everything was feeding me, like all the homies were showing love to him. You know what I mean? I guess he had big ass bags of canteen right there. He had his own fucking product and shit, like where he could start doing his thing. He got fully cleared. You know what I mean? Like there was just hella shit that was given to this youngster. Like he was a little youngster coming up. You know what I mean? So and him doing that for, I guess, the big homies to him. They looked at that and said like, okay, he got heart. And you know what I heard from what I heard these stories is I heard this youngster was like he would do his thing and shit, but he was also like a little fuck up and shit. You know what I mean? I guess he had a little program failure and shit, and there's times he'll talk back to authority, and you know what I mean, and or just doing shit like that, or messing around with his salaries and shit. I heard he even threw a cup of water through a vent to someone. So yeah, so this youngster and shit, you know what I mean? He was getting DP'd, and at the time, I guess that's when they were doing like a program failure, you know what I mean, or something like that. And I guess they were doing program failures, and this is what I heard for the story. Well, this youngster ended up getting removed because of supposedly of a program failure, you know what I mean, and for whatever he was doing and shit. Well, this youngster was never afforded to get an IR, you know what I mean? They never gave him an IR. So when he got removed, the authorities asked him if he wanted to press charges and if he wanted to PC up, and this youngster was like, hell nah, like what the fuck? Like, hell nah, I'm not pressing no charges. I ain't piecing up. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit's out. You know what I mean? And fucking so this youngster and shit fucking goes to the hole, and he only had like a week left because his original sentence was 180 days. So he had to do basically like 6 months because he cut the monitor off. So after everything touched down, after he programmed already for like 5 months and like 3 weeks and shit, a week about to go home, I guess his own homies ended up removing him because they tried to say he was a program failure or something like that. But in our reality, what really happened was, from what I heard, was that the dope and all that went missing, and some guy that at the time was running the house, um, he ended up indulging and using it all up, and instead of giving it to the big homies where it goes and shit, he accused this youngster of stealing it and supposedly never turning it in when in fact he turned it all in. And fucking the dude that was just in charge at the time, he just indulged in every single one of it. So this youngster never got afforded to get an IR. And so what happened was this youngster ended up paroling back to the streets. And he wasn't sitting back, and he wasn't gonna let that happen. He went to his proper channel and he was just like, hey man, like I sacrificed for the people, like I came back with some shit, everything touched down, and I'm still getting treated like what did I do? Like, yeah, I know I've been DP a couple of times, but man, you guys straight up put hands on me, for no fucking apparent reason. So they were like, "Oh, now we're gonna investigate that, So I was thinking they were gonna ask me from my side of the story on IR and put me on this and that, but they never asked. Well, they didn't ask me. The youngster, they were saying that basically like, well, don't trip on it. We'll investigate it. While that little youngster wasn't taking that for the answer, so that little youngster was like, you know what, I'm gonna go commit a burglary just so like that. If anything's gonna happen to me, it's gonna happen in there, and if anything's gonna get resolved, it has to be through in there. That's what I thought, you know what I mean? Through proper procedure and all that. What comes to find out that this little youngster and shit did a burglary on purpose just to go back in there to only find out that his own homies in there had put a green light on this dude for no apparent reason. So, I guess I heard that the little youngster ended up going to court and ended up smacking him up. He still didn't PC up. And he ended up going to the hole. But he ended up getting a sentence already for 2 years with half, I think I heard. He went to Wasco reception, and IGI came up to him, and I guess they told this youngster, like, "Hey man, like, this ain't the county, like the Norteños, they will kill you right here. So what are you trying to do? You trying to program or you trying to PC?" And that youngster was like, "Nah, I'm trying to program." And they're like, "All right, man. Are you sure that's what you want?" That youngster was like, "Hell yeah, man." He goes, "All right, man. Well, go ahead and sign your death papers right here, because we don't even know if you're gonna make it out." And that youngster was like, "Fuck. All right." So I guess that youngster signs his death papers, and then I guess he goes in, boom. He goes in and shit to Wasco and shit, A side, and, 117, I guess that was his cell number. And long story short, any bad info, good or bad on this individual, like, let it be known. So I guess everybody started just letting it be known, like, hey, this little individual got removed in the county and this and that and whatever. So they had this little youngster on freeze. Man, they had this youngster on freeze for like over 3 years, but at the time he was already really starting his freeze right there in Wasco. So after they got all the paperwork in and all that, I guess there was a big homie in the back in D6, and that was the ASU right there in Wasco. And I guess he wanted to meet this youngster. You know what I mean? He wanted to take over his case, because at the time there was no communication like that. So at the time, the only communication was between the ASU, where basically the main people are at, and they get sent out to the SHU, which is in Pelican Bay, and that's how communication used to roll. Whoever goes up there and feedback, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it was back then. So I guess this youngster, he files his IR, you know what I mean? And I guess they want to hear his side of the story in the back. So I guess this youngster, they tell him that, hey man, you're gonna go on a full 60. We're gonna start a full blown riot. There's this individual, man, he has to go, but he's programmed as an Indian, so they don't want to remove him, but we need him gone. And basically, you on the next thing smoking, and you're next. That's what they were telling that youngster, like, you're next, man. You gotta go. So the youngster was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. And I guess that youngster took all kinds of clavo, bundles, everything to the bag, big ass bags of canteen, and this youngster, he gets moved to the top one last time, trying to make a move happen like that. You know what I mean? The house wanted like that, and I guess this youngster Sally's right there, because the reason why I know this story like this is because I met this youngster already. I know who he is and shit. You know what I mean? Well, anyways. So this youngster tells us Sally, like, hey man, like, are you ready? Like, you don't even look like you're ready. You look like you're fucking scared, bro. Like, what's going on? Are you okay? He's like, nah, bro, you think it's a he's telling his bunk. He like, hey man, you think it's a drill or you think it's real? You think the homies, you know how the homies be doing drills like that? And I'm like, nah, fool, it's real. So that youngster was like, well, how do you know? While that Sally was telling that youngster like, oh, well, how do you know it's real? And that youngster like, hey man, it is what it is, bro. It's real, bro. Like I don't have to lie to you, bro. I don't even know you, bro. And I'm just trying to tell you, bro, just stick and move, bro. That's all I gotta tell you, bro. And he was all like, ah, this was pumping it up too much, you know? And so I guess fucking that youngster had his woo wop out and fucking the doors crack open, clack, 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 clack. You know what I mean? And fucking, and I guess the youngster, they go sit down and shit. And, you know, the youngster and a couple other fools that owe a little something, they're just sitting down right there and they're chopping it up. And we already know the whole POA, POD and shit. So so this youngster and shit, he's sitting down and he's just waiting for the target. And sure enough, man, the target pulls up and this youngster just gets up behind him, fucking grabs his hair, wraps it around his motherfucking clenched fist, and just starts whacking that fool in his face, man. He just starts stabbing him and stabbing him like, and this fool takes off running. So because he takes off running, his other people heard come asshole naked, I guess, and these niggas are just right there going at it like for like 9 minutes straight up, like 9 minutes. You know what I mean? It was bad, bro. And and they go at it, man, and that's what it is, though, man. But after that, I guess that youngster went ended up going to the hole, and that's where he stayed for like 3 years trying to fight out his case. The moral of the story is that this youngster never gave up and he still ain't giving up. And there's also a part two, so let me know if you're trying to hear part two, man. Like, comment, subscribe, follow my page, and you know, there's more, you know, to this story.